Yeah, so good afternoon. I would like to welcome every one of you on behalf of ICAE. I'm Almas and I'll be your host for this session today. I would like to thank Ms. Pushpa, Principal of Birla Vidya Niketan, and Ms. Amrita Singh, Career Counselor of your school, for giving us an opportunity to organize this session for your students. And I would like to invite Meenakshi ma'am to say a few words to all the students and university representatives present here, and we will be starting shortly with the university introductions. And I would like to inform you that Usha ma'am will also join us shortly. So ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ICAI, for coming to our school virtually and giving us some knowledge about the various kinds of jobs which are there these days and what new is happening and what skills are required, etc., etc. And students, a very good afternoon to you and a warm welcome to each one of you here. Now, students of classes 9th to 12th are joining this webinar today. And children, it is very important for you to understand yourself first. That what do you actually like doing and what would you do professionally if you are asked, you are given a chance and a choice. Think of 2, 3 options. It's very important that plan A, plan B, etc. are ready. And from now, particularly the students of class 9th and 10th, start developing the required skills, start developing the required knowledge, start developing the required skills. Because whatever you do, it is very important that you do it skillfully, you do it properly, and you have to excel in that. And that excellence comes only if you have the required skills to do that particular kind of job. It is not that anybody and everybody can do anything and everything. Then students ask your friends and family members that uh, what do they think about you would be good at professionally. And sometimes, you know, what they say and what you think just match. If that is the scene, then of course that's the profession for you. But otherwise, sometimes we have to develop ourselves, we have to groom ourselves. But most important is that we should know what do we want to do. Without that, the second step just cannot come. And it is a situation like you've reached class 12, you're about to finish, and someone asks you what do you want to do, and you say, I don't know, I'll see, I'll think. But then you have to think and see of it right from now, right from today, wherever you are. And you know, if possible, make yourselves shadows of somebody. Like if you are fond of lawyers and you want to take law as your profession, it would be nice if you kind of, you know, do your internship under a lawyer or you shadow a lawyer so that you understand the profession properly. Sometimes, you know, you just like somebody and you therefore want to pick up the same profession, but actually it's not for you. And maybe then if you are a shadow, you realize the other side of the coin also. You understand the cons also. And with that, what happened, you give up that thought process of yours at the very early age so that you don't waste your time preparing for something which actually you would repent later. So the choice of profession and choice of subjects must be taken very carefully, and only after understanding your potential, your capabilities, and your choices. Gone are those days when doctors or engineers were considered to be the only professionals worthy of good life. No, not at all. There are so many new professions which have come. And yesterday I was talking to somebody, and she is with semiotics. Now, semiotics is the study of signs and symbols and all. And she's doing so well with a company, advertisement company, and she is telling them which symbol to use, what sign to use, so that the advertisement would be liked by many. And so, you know, there are so many professions, and all the professions are paying well. If you are doing well, that's a very important condition, that you have to excel in whatever you are doing. So after that, the sky, the world is all yours. And you have to be happy doing. Otherwise, the fatigue would set in very fast. Now, post-COVID, many of the professions would change. Many of the new professions would come. And if you are observant, if you are careful, if you think that what would be the situation like post-COVID, or what do you think that we were lacking in? So maybe, you can yourself think of something very meaningful, very good, very useful for you, and you pick it up as a profession and you do very well, because things are going to change post-COVID. But you have to be very observant, you have to be very careful, and you have to keep on doing your introspections. I thank ICI once again for giving us this opportunity to understand what's happening and how do we prepare ourselves. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So now we will move on to our university introductions. I would like to inform all the students that Usha ma'am will be joining us shortly, and after the university introductions, she will be taking all your questions, and all the university delegates will also be there to take all the questions. You can definitely drop in your questions in Q&A box. They can mark your question to answer it live, or they can directly answer your questions in Q&A box only. So please, when you are writing a question for any university or for Usha ma'am, please mention their name. So now we'll start with Miss Sita from University of Waterloo to take on from
here. Almas, do you just want me to introduce myself, or you agree?
Yes, a short introduction of your university and yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Sita, last name Dronam Raju. I'm based in Hyderabad and I work for the University of Waterloo, especially for the Faculty of Mathematics. University of Waterloo is located in the province of Ontario in Canada. We're primarily a STEM school, very well known for our math, computer science and engineering programs. But we also have faculties of applied health sciences, faculty of arts and faculty of environment. So if you are interested in Canada and looking for a very STEM specific courses, please feel free to ask me questions. I'm here to answer your questions and help you with University of Waterloo. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sita. Now we move on to Miss Meenu Arora from Kriya University. Ma'am, over to you. Meenu ma'am, are you there? Anyone from Kriya University? I think she hasn't joined us yet. So we'll move on to Mr. Samuel Joseph from University of Wollongong.
Hi, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Hi, very good afternoon. Myself, Samuel Joseph. I'm from University of Wollongong in Dubai. A short brief about the University of Wollongong. University of Wollongong in Dubai is the first foreign university in the UAE. We've been here for the last 27 years. We offer almost 44 programs in the UAE, 22 in undergraduate and 22 in the postgraduate level. We offer engineering, business, and then stream of humanities. If you have any doubts, please, I'll be happy to help you out today by chat or on a Q&A session today. Currently, our autumn semester intake is happening. We're likely to start by September 20th of this year. Over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. Mr. Raul D'Souza from Instituto Marangoni.
Hello, Almaz, and thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. My name is Raul D'Souza. I'm the head of enrollments for Istituto Marangoni School of Fashion, Art and Design. It's one of the first schools for fashion, art and design based in Milan, Florence, Paris, London, and branches also in Shanghai and Shenzhen, Mumbai in India, and Miami in the US. Our new intake starts 12th of October this year. Applications and admissions are open for all our courses at these respective schools. Students who do not wish to travel abroad this year can attend the course at our Mumbai campus and then progress to the European campuses in the month of February. We offer undergrad programs in fashion designing, fashion business, fashion styling, art courses in multimedia art and art history and culture, and design courses in interiors, product, and graphic design. So I look forward to your questions and I'll be happy to answer them. So thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you very much. Next up is Ms. Deepak Gugnani from Queen's University, Canada. Deepa, over to you.
Thank you, Almas. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Deepak. I represent Queen's University in India and other South Asian countries. Queen's is a public research university based out of Ontario province of Canada. We are located in the city of Kingston, consistently ranked among the top 10 universities in Canada. We offer a huge portfolio of undergrad programs that you can look at. Your choices could range from astrophysics to commerce to mechatronics to history, anything that you can think of. Queen's has a combination as a major, as a minor available for you to look at. We offer a range of scholarships as well, and we have a specific scholarship for the Indian students called Principal Excellence Scholarship India, which is only goes to only the citizens of India. We have prerequisites requirements. We have specific percentage requirements, and we are happy to discuss all of these in detail with you during Q&A. So without taking much time, I'll look forward to answering your questions in the session ahead. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepa. Thank you very much. So I guess Ms. Meenu Arora has joined us from Korea University. So ma'am, over to you. Can you hear me, Meenu ma'am?
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. A very happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much. So Korea University is basically a liberal arts university, a pioneer in interwoven learning. So it is situated in Sri City, which is 70 kilometers away from the Chennai airport. It takes 1.5 hours to 2 hours to reach there. And we offer basically liberal arts program in terms of BSc and BA honors courses. There are different majors. The beauty of the program is that we don't have any prerequisite to join the program. So you can choose any major along with the minor. And there is a +1 optional year also for those students who would like to continue with the 4th year. And I don't know, can I go further or can I stop here?
Yes, you have 2 to 3 minutes with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about the admission process. So the admission process, there is an online application where all the academic and your personal profile is there along with your extracurricular and co-curricular activities. And if you're selected in that, then you enter the KIC, that is the Korea Immersive Case, which we can discuss if anybody has any question regarding that. And also one thing I would like to emphasize here that we place a lot of emphasis on, the skills which you learn. So when you join Korea University, you don't join a major, you join the batch, and the whole batch goes through the core courses and the skill courses. And we strongly believe that these skills help the child, to bridge that gap between the higher education and the employability. So you are equipped with a lot of transferable skills. So you declare your major only in the 2nd year. And between year 1 and year 2, you have immersive learning experience, because we strongly believe that, as we believe in interwoven learning, we believe that the past weaves into the future with the help of present, and the sciences weaves into the arts, right? And the theory weaves into the practical. So everything which you study in the classroom situation is connected with the real life world. And to support that, we have immersive experience 1 between year 1 and year 2. And between year 2 and year 3, there are internships. So we have different partnerships with different industries to support you in internships. And we have partnerships with other universities also, which are very well curated, depending on what is the USP of that particular university. For example, for environmental sciences, you can go to James Cook, or for public policy, you can do a course from University of Chicago. So thank you so much. and then I can take further questions.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Now we are moving on to Mr. Dhruva from University of Queensland.
Hello, everyone. Very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Dhruv, and I represent the University of Queensland. Could you please tell me if you're able to see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, great. So I am the Senior Recruitment Advisor for the University of Queensland in India. And so to start with, so the University of Queensland is a public research university in Brisbane, in the capital city of the Australian state of Queensland. Founded in 1909, the UQ is Australia's 5th oldest university. Very important, matter to discuss. We are in the top 100 globally in the 5 of the major rankings, and we are ranked 46th in the world as per the QS World University Rankings 2021. Our rankings by subject is amongst the top 10 for a lot of fields, including sports sciences, mineral and mining engineering, environment ecology, agricultural sciences, etc. We are ranked 1 in Australia for research, and our research is answering one of the world's toughest questions. We're 5-star rated in terms of student demand, qualifications, teaching quality, and educational experience. As a globally connected university with strong local connections, industry relevant, we won the Best University Employer Partnership Award in 2019. We have a total of 53,000 plus students, out of which 18,000 plus are international students from across 135 countries in the world. And UQ offers one of the best campus experiences in the world, with our campus at St. Lucia being the 11th most beautiful campus in the world. Just to show you how the city looks like, you can see our campus out there. Moving on, we have other campuses as well at Hurston and Gatton. I will not get into too much details. You can look, over the website for more details. The study areas cover agriculture and environment, business economics, education, engineering and computing, health and behavioral sciences, law, medicine, science, and mathematics. We have a range of clubs and societies where you can be a part of to get an experience of the vibrant atmosphere and the environment available out there. And we have a range of scholarships for students at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. I'll be happy to take any questions that you may have. You can send me through chat box, or you can directly ask me. Thank you so much for giving us this platform, ICAE. And I would really like to thank Birla Vidya Niketan for having us over. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dhruv. So I would now like to invite Ms. Nisha Arora from Singapore Institute of Management to take over from here.
Yeah, good afternoon, Principal Ma'am, and my fellow industry colleagues, the students and parents who have joined us for today's event. This is Nisha Arora from Singapore Institute of Management. That's one of the most premier universities in Singapore. And also I would like to thank Nazaji for organizing this session today and bringing all of us together. So yes, I'm representing Singapore Institute of Management, and I understand that due to the uncertainties involved in today's world due to the ongoing pandemic, the students at this stage are quite worried. For obviously, they do not want the academic year or anything to get hampered. So I would just like to mention that the situation is very much under control in Singapore. The citizens of the country are taking the circuit breaker. They call the lockdown period as the circuit breaker, taking it very positively. So they're taking it very seriously, and they follow the regulations very carefully, in fact. The country is opening up gradually. They've opened up various sectors, in fact, and even the schools are up and running. And of course, the adequate social distancing measures are in place. So things are moving in a positive direction. And I hope all of us, all the country members, should be in a better situation in the coming future. Now, elaborating further about SIM as a university, we have been in existence in Singapore for last more than 50 years, in fact, and we have been able to establish ourselves as one of the highly sought after university in Singapore. And as far as our functioning is concerned, we actually work in a very interesting partnership model. So students study with us at the Singapore campus, but they eventually get a degree from a partner university that could be based in US, UK, Australia, or France. So for that matter, for students and parents who are not comfortable sending their kids to faraway countries, and still they do not want to lose out the opportunity of getting a degree from these reputed universities across the globe, we have brought these universities to their convenience in an Asian country, in Singapore. So it's easily accessible, plus you can go there and get the same degree and the same recognition taught by the same faculty, in fact, for most of our programs in the safest countries of the world, that's in Singapore. And the kind of programs that we have on offer, both bachelor's and master's, and elaborating further in the fields that we have on offer for the bachelor students, we have programs in the field of psychology, we have sociology, then we have IT, big data, or maybe something into artificial intelligence that's very much in demand these days. We have game and mobile development. Then we have supply chain, accounting, finance, and plethora of programs related to management and marketing and international business. So these are the kind of programs that we have on offer for the bachelor students as well as for masters as well. Few of them are there. Now, in terms of scholarship, we have a very good scholarship option for students who are very good at academics. Moreover, they have some excellence in the field of maybe artistic talent or something related to sports or leadership skills and activities. So they have to go through a panel interview. In case they're able to clear that, we may award them 100% tuition fee waiver. So that's a very attractive feature. And also for the information, we have our own India office here in Delhi at Nehru Place. And the office is headed by our country head, Ms. Richa Watts. So yeah, that's all I would like to share about the office and the programs that we have. For any further questions, please do ask us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nisha. Thank you very much. So next up is Ms. Nilanjana Shin from Trinity College, Dublin.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nilanjana Shin, Senior Recruitment Advisor for Trinity College, Dublin, the University of Dublin, which was founded in 1592 and is one of the 7 ancient universities of the world, along with Oxford and Cambridge. Trinity has actively built on its tradition of academic excellence, and in our 428th year, we are ranked 101st in the world according to the latest QS rankings, and we are among the top 100 for employability of our graduates. Trinity is also the most entrepreneurial university in Europe for the 5th consecutive year. Our 47-acre campus is located right in the heart of Dublin city centre as part of the Innovation Hub. We offer 4-year honours courses in all academic disciplines ranging from business, computer science, engineering, science, psychology, law, history, English, almost all the academic disciplines. And our schedules are a combination of timetabled and independent learning. All students, irrespective of the discipline that they are pursuing, they have to complete a capstone project, which accounts for 40% of the final bachelor degree mark. And this project is linked to a real industry project. This feature of our programs ensures that Trinity graduates are the most highly paid and most highly sought after in Ireland. We also offer 5-year integrated professional degrees in 2 disciplines, engineering and computer science. The integrated master degree gives students the option to complete the 2nd semester of their 4th year, either as a 6-month paid internship or as international exchange at one out of the over 300 collaborations that we have with top universities across the world, be it US, Canada, Australia, Europe, as well as Asia. All other students can choose to study 1 semester or a full 3rd year of their program as part of a similar international exchange. We have 1 intake in September, and applications commence on 1st October of the previous year. The deadline to apply is 30th of June, so we are still accepting applications for 2020 intake. All applications are online and we issue conditional offers on the basis of predicted grades and 2 academic LORs which are mandatory. Our general entry requirements are a minimum of 80% aggregate for subjects like engineering and computer science, maths in class 12th with a minimum of 75% is required. For science-related subjects, we require 2 science subjects, which could be out of physics, chemistry, bio, or maths, with a minimum of 75% in each. For business-related programs, which happen to be the most popular, if a student has maths in class 12th, then we require minimum 75%. But if a student does not have maths in class 12th, they are still eligible if they have a minimum of 80% in maths in class 10th. Trinity will be commencing its 2020 intake on 28th September, which is a staggered start. And this will be through a blended learning model as Ireland moves to a complete lifting of lockdown with effect from 29th June. Ireland has been ranked 6th in the world for its response to COVID-19, while Dublin has been ranked 13th in amongst all global cities for its response to COVID-19. And in semester 1 of this intake, we will follow a hybrid model which combines online and face-to-face elements, such as offering online lectures for larger class groupings and face-to-face seminars, tutorials, and lab classes for the smaller groups. We strongly believe that personal interaction between both students and between students and lecturers is a vital component of a Trinity education. Therefore, we aim to provide as much face-to-face teaching and learning as possible. I would be happy to provide further information, so please feel free to reach out for any questions that I could help you with. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nilanjana. Thank you very much. Next up is Mr. Divya Kumar from University of Ottawa. Divya, over to you now.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Divya, and I represent the University of Ottawa. Before really talking about the University of Ottawa, it is important to know more about the city so that you can properly integrate into the, not only into the education system, but also culturally and personally. Ottawa, as we all know, is the capital of Canada. It is located on the border of Ontario and Quebec, which makes proximity to Toronto, Montreal, Quebec quite easy. You can, in fact, take a flight, a 1.5-hour flight to Boston, and almost a 2-hour flight to New York. So we are very strategically located. It is a fun, vibrant, and a youthful city, and it is also one of the most educated cities in the whole of North America. Now, Ottawa is, so now coming down to the university, Ottawa is the largest English-French bilingual university in the world. I'm mentioning French because students who wish to pursue part of their program in French get a fee exoneration, which means they practically study in Ottawa for free if they choose to study in French. It's a big advantage for students who are learning French and would want to pursue part of their courses in French. We are among the top 10 in Canada, and if you look at the Times High ranking last year, it was 141 in the world. We have over 43,000 students, out of which 8,000 are international, that come from almost 155 countries. So we have a true representation of students from across the globe. We have an alumni network of close to 200,000 students. We have the second largest co-op. Co-op is basically internship in your area of study, which helps you explore what you're studying more deeply and helps you choose the right career. Other than that, we have almost all the faculties that you can think of: the Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Arts, Faculty of Social Sciences, Faculty of Education, Medicine, Health Sciences, Law, anything that you can think of, except for for a School of Architecture. We would have almost everything that you can really think of. I've already mentioned that we have close to 8,000 international students, which makes our campus truly diverse. I think if you have any questions that we have a lot of scholarships to offer, and I can talk about the scholarships if you email me at india@uottawa.ca. You can also probably drop in your email here, and I can send you details about the scholarships that we offer, because there are quite a few that we offer. And for any other questions, please write to india@uottawa.ca. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Siddharth from Indian Institute of Business and Finance to take over from here. Mr. Siddharth. I think Siddharth is not able to hear us. So I'll just move on to Ms. Neha Verma from Flame University.
Almas, Siddharth has not unmuted. Just need to tell him to unmute.
Okay, Siddharth, you have to unmute yourself because there are a lot of screens. I can't see you.
Hi, Uzma. Am I audible to you now?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much. And I hope everybody is doing fine, keeping safe amidst this pandemic. Good afternoon to all the students, parents, counselors, and colleagues from various other universities present here. So my name is Siddharth, and I am representing Indian School of Business and Finance with my colleague here, Karan, who is also on the other side. So Indian School of Business and Finance, is a 14 years old institution based out of Delhi, and we offer various international programs over here in India itself through foreign universities, basically UK universities. So recently we tied up with Kingston University, and we are offering a business management program through them. Admissions are open for that, and I would be happy to answer questions regarding that. Apart from that, ISBF has been known to offer and deliver LSE courses in India. So we are one of the leading institutes of a London School of Economics and Political Sciences outside of their London campus in India. And especially considering the current situation, it is highly sought after choice right now, as in most of the students are, or probably parents are not willing to send their kids abroad, but still, would like to explore the opportunity of an international education. So there are certain undergraduate courses, which we offer in the field of economics, management, and finance. So we have a bachelor's in economics and finance, bachelor's in accounting and finance, again, bachelor's in business management and finance. So these are the certain courses which we offer, and applications are currently open for them, and we would be happy to receive applications or any other questions which a student or a parent may have.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you very much. Now I would like to move on to Ms. Neha Verma from Flame University to take over from here. Neha, can you hear me? Okay, I can't see Neha here in the list. So we'll move on to OP Jindal University, Mr. Varun. Mr. Varun from OP Jindal University.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah,
yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Varun representing OP Jindal Global University. And before starting, I want to tell you that we are situated near to Delhi in Sonipat, and we are 10 years old university. And in terms of achievement, last year we got Institution of Eminence tag from MHRD. And this year on 1st of June, QS launched their 2020 ranking, and we ranked #1 private university and #1 university in terms of social science, arts and humanities. program. Then we are having 9 schools. Under the 9th school, we are having 15 undergraduate program with BA LLB, BBA LLB. We are having BBA, then we are having BA Honors in Global Affairs, BA Honors in Political Science, then we are having BA Honors in Economics, BA Honors Social Science and Policies. We are having Liberal Arts and Humanities program, BA Honors in Journalism, Media Studies, BCom. BARC, we recently launched our design program in interior design and a new school, Jindal School of Environment and Sustainability. And we are offering BA Honors in Environmental Studies also. So these are the some 15 undergraduate programs which we are offering under the university, and we are 100% interdisciplinary university where a student can have any program with us and can take program from other schools also and have a credit from them. In terms of faculty and student ratio, we are maintaining 1:9, which is one of the best in country right now, with 14% of international faculty from 32 countries, the full-time faculty with us. And for further questions, you can reach to me in the progress of this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So as we are done with the university introductions, I would like to welcome Usha ma'am. I can see she has joined us. So I would like to welcome her with a short introduction. She's a founder director of Career Smart, and she is also nationally respected TV personality and documentary filmmaker. So ma'am, over to you. She'll be talking about emerging trends and career opportunities during this pandemic. Ma'am, over to you now.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. I'm so happy to be participating in this webinar. More so, I'd like to thank ICAE for organizing it at a time like this, when I know there are so many students. I'm getting hundreds of calls every day from students who are very anxious about what will happen in the future. And I'm very happy to be, I've been listening in earlier on to many of the experts that you have got on this panel, and the number of universities that are participating. I'm very happy to be part of this group as well. So thank you very much for having me here. As far as the students are concerned, as we all understand, it is an extremely taxing time for everyone. Not only is it a time when we have to wonder about exams, particularly competitive exams, how do we get admission to it? And because of that, I'm so happy to know that there are so many universities that are taking students on and not necessarily require all the stringent requirements that are normally what they would have had to go through. So right now, there are many universities that will be admitting students, but nevertheless, many students are still anxious as to, should I still do the course that I had planned to do? You know, what are the prospects for that? Is there a future for me? Should I take up the usual used to be engineering, medicine, commerce, or if you wanted to do humanities? But with all of this, where should I go? What should I do? So I'll just briefly give you a little overview, my dear students, really about what should you be looking forward to. Now, there are many who are science students, commerce students, and arts or humanities students there. And with whatever subjects you have already selected, there are very many opportunities for you even in those sectors. So don't panic, don't be anxious. I've taken up, you know, hospitality, or I want to do mass communication, and I don't think there's going to be a future. No, there will be a future. It will just be changed. So really, what do we have to look at? And broadly, it's a scenario that is going to be different in 2 or 3 different ways. One, a large part of work is going to be freelance, could be contract, could be remote. It's going to be done not necessarily from offices and not necessarily where a large number of people gather. So I think many students have to understand that that is going to be the new norm, and whatever can be done within those parameters, those kind of careers will continue to happen. Secondly, most of the employers will start looking at skills you bring to the table. What value are you going to add? And the skills and the knowledge that you have, you bring to bear on whichever course or subject that you have done, and how you can contribute to the organization. So how that, what skills you have to be able to work with those in areas that may be a little different from what you've been used to. So I think for many students who are looking to the future, the important thing are essentially the three that we always look at. Know yourself, know what you're good at, what are your interests, and the kind of environment you want to work in. That's very important. Environment today may not be the physical environment, but it could be the work environment or the work culture. Are you a tech person that is quite happy sitting in front of a computer and interacting with people on a virtual world? Or are you somebody who would like to, of course now many of us do work on a virtual world, but also interact with people all the time in various kind of media formats like Zoom calls or meetings or whatever else we might do that. So, but you're a sociable person and you're a person who doesn't want to sit too long and just doing calculations or something which is tech. You want to work with people and therefore interact with them in whatever media it might be. So like that, we have to think about ourselves, and that we always come down to what is the basic? Know yourself. Know yourself in what you're good at. You cannot change what you are good at only because the virus has come in and it says that you cannot have a career in that field. No, you will still stay the same person, but you have to adapt. Today, there are reporters that are going out. They're still going interviewing people, but they interview on a different platform. They interview through the virtual media. They interview through long distance, through social distancing, through various other means in which they communicate. So every career adapts. So you also need to adapt. So don't be worried that I have a skill which may not be useful in the new COVID world. All your skills will be used. Which are some of the areas that might need changing? Let us look at some of those careers that are being impacted, and then which are those which will come out in a new, what I say, a new avatar. There is no doubt there is a loss of jobs on all sectors. They say there are more than 12 to 15 crore jobs that have been completely lost. Many of them are in the informal sector, but even in the formal sector, there are a huge number of jobs that have been. So what are most people doing? They are adapting themselves to look at new areas where they can work. Which are the ones that have been impacted? Even though IT is very much a very strong aspect of today's new world, jobs within the IT sector are also impacted, but to lesser extent. More extent has been the travel, tourism, hospitality, aviation, maybe some amount of retail, some amount of manufacturing. These are the main areas which have been impacted, but they've taken on new ways. The aviation sector has resumed, but there are new protocols for people who work in them. The hospitality sector has resumed, but again, there are new ways of which the hotels or any of the enterprises are running their show. Even in food, even food outlets. Today, you may not be able to sit in a restaurant. Maybe in 6 months, you may be able to. But again, there could be food deliveries being done, and therefore the service might continue. So now, those are the only sectors that we may need to do. Like I said, we need to adapt and do a refresh of our norms of working. But the areas where you will continue to have huge amount of opportunities, what are those areas? Those areas are certainly the IT areas. The IT tech areas will continue in huge numbers, more particularly the data sciences. Data science, and as you know, what is data science? It is looking at all the data that comes in on the web, on the internet sites, and formulating them in ways which can be useful for companies, and so providing them with that information. What do you need to get into data science? You will need a very strong computer science background. You don't need a BTech, but it is useful. But certainly if you've done either a BCA or you've done a maths and you've done some computer courses, you could be good for data science. In fact, lots of maths students and people who've done a graduation in maths honors can also go into maths data sciences. So data science along with data analytics would be a very good area to get into for those who are interested in that. Another area is the cloud computing, algorithms, machine learning, artificial intelligence. All of these are ones where there will be a huge number of opportunities. Now, this is really for the hardcore computer people. So if you're interested in engineering and computer sciences, this is the area that certainly will have a huge scope, particularly now the data is, the digital technologies are the means of communication for people, and it will continue for the future. Another area which is also gaining ground is now, because many people are becoming very conscious, is again related to computers, but in the area of cybersecurity. Again, cybersecurity doesn't require an engineering degree. You can do cybersecurity even after a BCA, or if you have some good computer skills, you can even do it by learning some of the programs and courses that are available on the internet. And the other area related to the IT sector is the digital marketing area. Now, this requires some amount of marketing skills, but also an understanding of the computer and the web technologies to be able to do the search engine optimization and any of the digital technologies that are around the apps, working with them. All of that is also one which will be greatly in demand, as you know, because now people are not doing so much of shopping. A large part of the buying and trading is being done on the digital platforms. So if you're looking at the IT sector, these are the areas that you want to get into. Now, the other big area, which is everybody's aware of, is the healthcare sector. And I'm glad it has got such a huge boost, not necessarily because of the corona, but again, a recognition of the health care workers. And I'm glad we're calling them warriors, because they're doing an amazing job. They're looking after us, protecting us, and all the services that are connected to the healthcare services. So for many of those who want to get into a medical related area, don't only be a doctor, go into so many other healthcare sectors, the paramedical, there's the pharmaceutical, there is just other biosciences, biotechnology, all of these that relate to healthcare. And therefore, if you're interested in any of these, and if you've got science with bio, this is the time to look at going into these sectors. And of course, there's going to be a huge increase in the number of medical seats. The government's already taken a stand on that. They understand that this country requires many more trained doctors. So if you've always dreamt of being a doctor, please keep that dream going, because we do need you. And I'm sure there will be a huge number of opportunities for you. But like I said, don't only look at doctor, look at so many other health care workers in many, many fields. So we're looking at nursing, pharmacology, we're looking at physiotherapy, we're looking at all the paramedical services, like the lab technicians, very, very important right now, particularly so many hundreds and millions of tests are being done. So all of these are important, and you will definitely find opportunities to work in these areas. Along with healthcare, for those who are interested in science, you want to get into higher studies, the biosciences. what we call the life sciences. Again, a huge opportunity because there's a lot of importance being given on this. We're all trying to find out a little more about this virus. We need epidemiologists, we need biologists, we need microbiologists, we need biochemists, we need biostatistics, people who do the mathematical modeling to find out where the coronavirus, how is it spread, what are the numbers, what is the percentage, all of this, which means you need biology and maths. So these are a huge variety of careers within the biosciences. So if you have an interest in physics, chemistry, biology, don't despair if you can't get into a medical seat. There are huge opportunities for you. And in addition, related to the healthcare areas, there are also areas related to agriculture. Again, there's a huge impetus given to agriculture. So if you're interested in, gene technology for developing new kinds of crops and breeding of different kinds of plants, for environment protection, again, the biosciences are important. So if you had done the sciences, this is the area to get into. Okay, now which are the other areas that can see a huge build-up? Right now, as you can see, the area of online education. All of us are all doing online counseling, teaching, and this is something going to grow. I'm not saying it's going to replace the schools and colleges. We still need them, and we need them very, very badly. But a large part of learning is going to be online. So if you have a skill or a very strong knowledge base, or you love a particular subject and you're wondering, now I will be able to teach because schools are shut, and is there going to be a future for teachers or not? Well, you can get into online teaching at every level, and more especially in the areas of new technologies, new courses. Any skill you have, you can actually teach it. So that is a huge opportunity that are into online courses, and I have many students of mine who've actually taught themselves even during this COVID couple of months. They've learned languages, they've learned technology skills, they've picked up computer skills, they've learned all kinds of things because it's all available. It's free. So this is really, again, another field of the future. Then we get on to what happens to commerce students, and many commerce students are worried, what's happening to banks and things. Now that again is a huge area that will continue. The money, as we know, is important. How we invest the money, where is it, and how is it available? How can it be increased? Those are areas that are of concern for everybody. So finance and banking will remain. So all of those doing commerce continue, because there will be a requirement for people from all areas of the commerce and business areas, including financial analysts, equity research people, just banking, retail banking, investment banking, the share market, all the areas related to banking and commerce. And in addition, if you are good with your maths, you can go into insurance, you can go into statistics, you can become an economist. So those careers are very much going to be there and will continue. So if you have a commerce background and want to go and are good with maths also, this could be an area that you could also look at. I've already spoken about pharma, but I'll again mention, because pharma is actually a huge area. It doesn't necessarily only cover healthcare, but pharma itself. Pharmaceutical companies are today some of the richest, biggest companies in the world. And as they say, because when you buy drugs like the kits that are being used today, or the testing kits that are being used today, they're produced in millions. The vaccine that is being developed will be produced in hundreds of millions. So all of these, and the drugs, whatever drugs there will be. So there will be a huge growth in pharmacy. So if you're interested in that area, again, it's a bioscience. Certainly look at pharmacy as a very possible area. Another good area to look at is, again, areas of entertainment. Now, I know there are many students who come to me and say, I want a future in music, in choreography, in video. I'm making music videos. Is there a future in that? Yes, there is a future. But of course, you have to, because remember, it's a very, very competitive area. But again, you have to adapt. You may not be performing on a stage to a live audience. You'll be performing maybe in a studio to a virtual audience. So again, your skills have to be developed for that new form of your career. But there is still a scope. And many, many artists are now adapting and seeing how can I develop and be able to work within this new environment. So whether you're on television to do news or documentaries, whatever else, or you're into doing entertainment, there is a future for you. But remember, it's highly competitive. Along with that is the area of gaming. And again, because the virtual world has taken over our lives and everybody is into their little machines and their little view pads, they're keeping themselves busy with some kind of movie, shows, or games. And there will be a huge future for gaming. So if you're into animation and gaming, which again, is something which can be done just in front of a computer, but you're a creative person, then certainly there is scope and opportunities for you. So that leads me on to other creative areas. What about other creative areas? Is there scope? Of course, there will always be scope for creativity. So the whole field of design, and there will be opportunities for that area. So keep in mind, those are good opportunities. Design will continue irrespective. You may not, go to a store to try out your clothes, but the clothes may come to you. And so there will always be, even though we're not going out so much, we still want to show others the new clothes or new outfits we're wearing on a virtual screen. And we will still require changes of different kinds of fashions and designs. So there will be a design requirement, fashion design or graphic design, where we're doing all kinds of graphics for the web or the publishing media, or accessory design or product design, and even furniture design, toy design, any area of design, huge opportunities. So also for architecture. So people need houses. And again, it's a field in which there isn't that much of mixing of people. You don't need to have huge gatherings of people. And again, opportunities for people who can work independently. So like this, I would say, don't despair. There are many options. And in addition, lots of areas of new areas. And I'm surprised at how many young people have found new ways of starting a new business. People are going into starting a gym class, yoga class, virtual, and being able to show to others. People who are doing classes for even cooking classes. So all of these are delivery services. There are many that have started delivering. They fetch and deliver for you. So opportunities for doing your own startup. If you have an idea, you want to start up, there's nothing to stop you, because everyone is looking for new opportunities and new ways to do some of the things we would have liked to do, but we cannot do because we cannot get together. Okay, so with that, I will end this brief, and I will take questions from anybody who has logged in. So thank you, Almas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes.
It was indeed very informative and useful call from you. And we are now open for questions. If you have any question for Usha ma'am or the university representatives, you can drop in your questions in Q&A box. And the university representatives, I would like to request you, if you want to answer any question live, you can click on the answer live button, or you can type in your answer there. So I will be taking questions for Usha ma'am. So Prithvi wants to know, are there scope for robotics in India? I guess Usha ma'am has some technical glitch at her end. Ma'am, can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me now? Can everyone hear me now?
Are questions going to come on live, or
ma'am, can you hear me now?
On,
yeah, I will.
I can hear you.
Yeah, so I'm taking the questions for you. Hardik wants to know, is there a better scope of engineering in foreign or Indian university?
Scope? You can get a degree in engineering anywhere. It's up to you where you want to get your degree in, Hardik. The important thing to keep in mind is many students who do engineering abroad are looking at job opportunities after that. And I think that is the difficulty, because there aren't too many countries where job options are available today. So if you're not looking at that possibility, you're just looking at a good engineering degree, you can look at any engineering where in the world. There are some very good, excellent engineering colleges in all the countries, and I think the programs. So by all means, go ahead and look at those.
Okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am. So I would like to inform everyone that I have some technical glitches here and my internet is unstable. So if somehow I get logged out, kindly continue.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have lost all my questions here. So another question is for Usha ma'am, is how to select a college?
Yeah, that's an important question. How do you select a college? You start with firstly selecting the course that you want to do. It's very important. And identify at least 5 to 10 colleges that will offer you that course. Then you begin to narrow it down from first cost, what is within your budget, to where can you go to. There are many students who would like to say go abroad, but for some reason, because of either the cost or the fact that parents are not happy about them going to study abroad or even going to another city, then you have to look at that. So again, narrow those down. And third, look at the faculty of the college, the course details, the number of students that are there, particularly if we're looking at a is it something that will, are there many other international students there who are comfortable with? Also, what are the kind of facilities that are being offered there? Are you comfortable with that? Do you have somebody close by? Should you have a problem, either family member or some friend or relation nearby? All of these are factors that are worth looking at. Now, if you're looking at specifically at colleges in India, a large number of students tend to look at, one or two that are among the ranked colleges. Now, very often it's not possible to get into those colleges because the numbers that are competing are too large. That's when you have to look at what do I actually want to do and which college will give me that course. The parameters that I'm looking at, which is of course cost and location. And given everything else that I have, which is a good faculty, some hostel, if I require hostel, there is hostel requirements, all of that is possible. The other thing which I think is coming up is being happy in the environment, because I think a college environment is very important. That is where you grow. So you must have a college environment which is a learning environment, where you're going to be able to meet with people who are also like you, looking for good courses, working towards goals that are similar kind of value-oriented goals, that are willing to look at, building yourself, building your personality, building the skills that you have, and an environment of learning. And if you have that, then that's really what you look at. Because I would tell students that it is important to keep in mind, college is not someplace you just go for your 2 classes and come back. You have to absorb the whole environment. And therefore, that is also very important, whether you're selecting college in India or abroad.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So this one is for OP Jindal. Does OP Jindal offer an integrated course in BBA and MBA? So Mr. Varun, I guess he's here from OP Jindal University. So Varun, if you want to answer this question.
Yes, we are offering a course for BBA, integrated BBA and MBA. It's a 5-year program, and it is being offered in the university where student criteria is that you just have 60% marks in your 12th. Then you need to give our own exam called General Scholastic Aptitude Test, followed by a personal interview. If you are not giving, if you already given SAT, ACT, we accept that score also, and you get score also. So any of that entrance exam score, if not, then General Scholastic Aptitude Test followed by a personal interview. After that, we decide whether to offer you a seat, yes or no. So it's a holistic approach where the application, written exam, and interview all plays a vital role.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
It's a 5-year integrated program which we are offering.
Okay, thank you. So this is for all the university delegates that I have lost all my questions here due to some bandwidth issue here. So if you want to answer a few questions live, you can do that. You can ask me to stop anywhere in between and we'll take your question. So Usha ma'am, this one is for you. What are the fields that are beneficial for students with PCM with ECO?
For students with PCM with ECO, you really can do anything you want to do. The first thing to keep in mind is why did you take up PCM with ECO? Were you looking for a career with science, or do you want to stay with the ECO and the business and commerce related areas? Once you're clear about that, then you can apply to the relevant colleges that you go for. Now, many students take up PCM with ECO more to get an idea about what ECO is like, because they don't know about ECO when they're making the choice of science, and till then they only know science, or they know humanities, and they don't know of ECO. So now that you've had 2 years of ECO and you know something about it, if you want a career in economics, that means a career with business or management related areas in the financial area, financial services, finance sector, banking, any of those, then I would suggest you go on to doing either a BA in economics if you're good with maths, or a BCom or a BBA, and then you top it up with an MBA. If you're looking at economics itself, you can do a BA plus an MA in economics. Or if you want to stay in commerce, you can stay with BCom, you can get into doing a BCom, do CA, or anything banking related after that. Of course, if you want to take science and you're looking at other science related areas, then of course you're still open to engineering or any of the other science related fields.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So next question is for University of Queensland. What are the entry requirements for psychology courses in University of Queensland? So Dhruv, I guess this is for you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
you're
great.
audible.
So usually, yes, okay, great. So usually students from a CBSE or an ICAE background, usually the requirement is 72.5% minimum. That's the grade average for the best of 4 subjects if you're looking at for a Bachelor of Psychological Science honors. At Queensland, that's the usual requisite that we have. We also have psychology under Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. The students can get back to me for more details. They can write to me and share their subjects that they are studying, and I can help them on a case-to-case basis.
Okay, thank you, Dhruv.
Okay, I would just like to add something
Yeah,
to
sure,
what
sure.
Usha ma'am okay, what Usha ma'am mentioned about the business courses. From a Canada perspective, first of all, ma'am, it's always a privilege listening to you.
Thank you.
And you know what, I really enjoyed your entire session. I listened to it very keenly. Thank you for all the information. And I think the students are learning quite a bit from you.
Thank you.
From a Canada perspective, you know, I think it's important for students to keep in mind that math is a prerequisite for most of the courses, especially if they plan to pursue a course in business, engineering, or science. I think I speak for all universities here. Canadian universities would require a math prerequisite if they want to do business courses, if they want to do engineering courses, or if they want to pursue science courses. Other than that, even if a student does an economics program at the universities in Canada, I mean, for University of Ottawa too, you would require a math prerequisite. So please make sure that, you know, either you have a maths prerequisite, or you taking maths from probably open high school, or you know, whatever is available to you. That is one. Second is, I mean, this is from a Canada perspective, because students cannot do any of these programs without maths. The second thing is that it is important that, you know, students take IELTS when they are in their grade 11, because IELTS is anyways valid for 2 years. All the students who want to apply for the study permit to Canada will require an IELTS. So these are the two requirements that you need to fulfill. But I think from Usha Albuquerque ma'am's perspective, maths is something that I felt I should be talking about.
Good, good. I'm glad you. Can students do the maths, the SAT, SAT? Would that qualify?
No, not really.
Divya, sorry.
No, ma'am. Even the SAT would not qualify them for a, you know, for a business course, or an engineering, or a management course, or an economics program. They need to do calculus and vectors. These are the two subjects that they'll have to study before they qualify. So they can either take it from anywhere outside, but you know, make sure that they are recognized by maybe the Indian government or the Canadian government, or the provincial government. So if they're able to do that along with their studies in school, they will qualify. I strongly recommend that students should take maths after their grade 11th, in their grade 11th and 12th, if they want to come to Canada.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you very much.
Useful information. Thank you, Divya.
Thank you. So, ma'am, there are two questions for you. So, these two students want to know what are the scope of robotics and cinematography in India? These are two different questions. I've combined it.
Yeah, there are courses in robotics, but the thing with robotics, it's a very advanced field of IT and requires you to have some base knowledge. So you need to have done engineering at a first level before you go into robotics. You will not find an undergraduate degree in robotics. So plus there is like the BITS Pilani has a course in robotics, but I think it's a master's level, or it's at the engineering, but it's at the more advanced level of engineering. So you can certainly get into robotics, and there's a lot of scope in robotics. But as I said, get a base in an area of either engineering, mechanical, or IT, or one of the areas, ENC, and then you can go on to robotics as a postgrad. I think Canada is a good country to go to if you want to do robotics, and I know there are many of the universities there that have done some excellent work particularly in the robotics and IT area. I remember visiting one or two of them that were quite amazing for the robots that I saw. In particular, I think it was the University of where was that? In Montreal, Quebec. University of Quebec has an automated.
McGill?
McGill, not McGill. There was the University of Quebec, and they have a machine which is, I think, some sort of space kind of a machine which is robotic made. Anyway, so there is a lot of scope in robotics. And which was the other one that you said?
Cinematography.
Now, cinematography, of course, there will definitely be a lot of scope. But again, like I said, the whole world of entertainment has changed. So how movies are going to be shot in terms of what those shots will be, I really don't know, because can actors actually act together, close to one another, and how they will be, I'm not so sure. But there will always be a need for people who do cinematography and make movies. So there will be a scope. In India, we have limited courses because we just have the Film Institute and one or two other institutes that are good. And there are opportunities all over the world. Definitely look at that. But I always have a little bit of warning for students going into this field, because it's not a mainline field. There are limited opportunities. And I've had many students who've studied, spent a huge amount of money for studying cinematography, and then come back and not been able to find jobs. So if you are doing it, make sure that you know what path you're leading, where you're going, and you will need to sort of feel your way bit by bit as you go along. I would advise anybody, do a general mass communication film and TV course, and then you can then adapt it, cinematography for different purposes, for feature films or documentary, news, could be an ad film, and therefore then you can adapt to where the job opportunities might turn out.
Thank you, ma'am. I would once again like to request all the university representatives to please keep answering all the queries in the Q&A box, because students are... Yeah.
I'm so sorry. So there are no queries in regards to University of Ottawa, but I just need to, there are a lot of students asking whether they can do 2 courses at a time at a university outside India or maybe in India. Now, I wouldn't know much about India, but from a Canada perspective, because I work for the University of Ottawa, I would like to mention that students, can actually customize their programs to whatever level. For example, a student can do a major and pick up a minor. So he may be doing a major in engineering and a minor in entrepreneurial studies.
Like I saw a question, the student was asking about English and psychology.
Okay, yes. So if you wish to do English and psychology, you can do a major in English and a minor in psychology, or a major in psychology with a minor in English. You can also do a dual degree. I mean, it is not, you're not just confined to doing one degree in Canada. You want to do 2 degrees. It will take you a longer time to finish both the degrees, but certainly you can. So you can do a dual degree in say, for example, English and psychology. You get a major in both. You can also do a major in a program while choosing a lot of electives to explore your interests further. For example, you can choose, say, computer science, and along with it, you want to do something in artificial intelligence, AI. You can do that, or you want to do something on big data. So what you need to do is, you can be doing, say, computer sciences, which is mostly algorithms and mathematics and analytical reasoning. But along with that, you'll also be doing more specialized courses in AI, or more specialized courses in computer science, in something like big data or Internet of Things, or whatever you can think about. So you can actually mix a lot of courses to customize a course for yourself. A lot of students have also asked whether I can pursue law in Canada. I mean, they asked to another university, but I would just, from a Canada perspective, again, want to mention that law is a postgraduate program in Canada, which means you need to have an undergraduate degree. You could be an engineer, a mechanical engineer. You've completed your bachelor's in mechanical engineering. You take a common law admission test in Canada, and you can pursue law. So law is after your bachelor's. It's not a bachelor's program. It's very similar to what Delhi University has to offer. Delhi University does not have a bachelor's. They have a law program which starts after you finished your bachelor's. So that's how it works. I think those are the 2 questions majority of you have asked. So
okay, there are a couple of
one
questions
thing.
Yes, Meenu ma'am, you want to say something?
do you want me to answer those, or there are a couple of questions that are coming up?
Yes, yes, ma'am. You can answer those questions in Q&A box. You can type in the answer, ma'am, if you want to.
I have to type the answer.
Yeah, if you want
Almas,
to. I mean, yes, ma'am. Meenu, ma'am. Yes, over to you.
Yeah.
No, I would just like to add whatever Divya was just saying about the Canadian education. So in Korea also, students can get a chance to pursue their majors along with the minors. And as I said earlier, there is no prerequisite, to join Korea University, in the sense that, like suppose even if the child doesn't have maths in class 11th and 12th, they can still opt for economics major at their undergrad level. And also is the students to pursue two majors together. In fact, this year we have given freedom to students to curate their own majors. They can have a permutation combination on their own, and the university will work accordingly. So we do have these kind of facilities in Korea University. And also when students join, they don't join a major in the first year. They join a common batch where they do courses and skills. And only in the second year, after exploring, after understanding, after talking to career advisors, students choose their major. So this is one thing which I wanted to point out. One more thing I would like to say after reading all the questions. Most of the students ask, what is the scope of this particular field? This is a very common question, and Usha ma'am will agree with me. I think the whole day we are, getting these kind of questions, that what is the scope of this particular career? And, I feel that there is only one answer to it. And that is, whatever you are good at, you have a scope for that. So never go by what is there in the fashion. Have a vision that, okay, what kind of careers are going to emerge in future, but just don't go follow it blindly. Look at your own skill set, look at your own potential, and only then choose. And then also I will say that one thing I would like to tell students, that just don't focus on the major which you are doing, also learn the skills side by side. Because what I see, that after having a degree from any university, it's not that you're well prepared for the world of the work. You have to have some kind of skill set. And this is the best time to learn that skill set slowly and gradually. So these are the things which I wanted to
very useful. Thank you, Meenu. I will just add to that, because of late I've been noticing that Korea University, there are several of these universities that have come up that offer these courses, is what we call liberal arts programs, but they're really courses that give you a very holistic kind of an education. And this is something that we in India are not used to. We tend to be very narrow-minded, that if I'm doing economics, I'm only doing economics, and if I'm doing psychology, I only do psychology. But where I do something in a liberal arts, I'm taking a little bit of education and knowledge of different areas, and I'm getting almost a global perspective. And I think that's a wonderful thing, which is being introduced in India. Many of the foreign universities already have it. They do offer it, but Indian universities have not. So I think for many students, there are some students who just want to focus on one area. By all means, then you go for that particular course. But if you want a more holistic view in terms of, or you want, like Divya was also saying, a major and a minor, or you want a dual degree, or you want more learning around what you want to do, and you're not very sure what you want to do out of it. You may have start with an interest in economics and end up by doing philosophy, because then in the area you suddenly realize that this is something that you've actually enjoyed doing. Because I think a large part of learning is not what you said, you're going to go into one sector and do one particular job. And today, like never before, have we realized that you need to be somebody with a very broad vision, because the world is changing so fast. You need to be able to adapt to what new comes up. And if we don't adapt, we're going. And that is why I would say for students, please go beyond your little it's a world outside, and don't look and so said this and so said that, and therefore this is what I want to do. find out what are these universities, what are they doing? Is this a place that I can grow as an individual and learn much more and learn, as Meenu said, the skills that I can use for the future, irrespective of what career I may want to get into. And today careers are not fixed. People move career, 5 years, I might change and get into something else. So, if I have skills, I can use those skills in whichever career I may want to get into.
Yes.
Okay, there are a couple of questions here which it's very difficult to type an answer while
a few questions are very lengthy.
Views.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, one is, what is the difference between doing LLB in India and doing the abroad? And asked me about it. Now, the trouble is, LLB is a law degree. Depending on where you want to practice, you can still learn law anywhere. Like Divya was saying, you can learn it in Canada. If you're going to practice in Canada, fine, you can learn it in Canada, and then you would have to pass probably a bar exam there to be able to qualify to work. If you do go out to study and come back to India to practice, then you would have to do your exam back home, the bar exam, but you would have still learned law elsewhere. So I think that's the same when you go abroad. So in India, you can do a 5-year integrated law degree, but in most other countries, you do your bachelor's degree or you do a undergraduate, and then you do law at a postgraduate level. Even in the UK, the US, Canada, and many of these places. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
So
thank you. Thank you. So there's one question. Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure. Go ahead.
Career, what are the courses for those who've done commerce without maths? Now, since they were talking about you need maths for commerce courses abroad, for those who go into commerce without maths, I presume most of them are not really looking for a business degree. They're just doing a base of work, which gives them some ideas about going into a work environment, but not necessarily a business environment. Now, you can do most BBA courses do not require maths, so you can do a BBA without maths. There are many universities in India that will allow you to do BCom also without maths. For them, it's accounts that are more important. And you want to get into banking or any of those areas, you can still do it without maths. So again, depending on what you want to do, the commerce is a base. You can go into fashion, you can go into hospitality, you can go into law, you can go into journalism, mass communication, anything you want with commerce without maths. Economics, you need maths. If you want to get into finance, you need maths. If you want to get into an MBA finance or an MBA, maths is definitely useful and in some cases necessary.
And in fact, many students don't know that without maths, you can also appear for CA exams and CS.
Yes, you could do CA. I don't recommend you, because CA requires an ability to deal with numbers. If maths creates such a phobia for you that you don't want to study it with commerce, there are many students, because CA doesn't demand maths, they will say, I can do CA. But I would not suggest you try and do CA if you feel that difficulty of handling maths. So I know that the maths in India the CBSE maths is a terrible course for anybody who wants to get into a commerce related field. It's really meant for engineers. But unfortunately, that's what the CBSE is. That's what they give us.
Thank you, ma'am. So I can see one question for Queen's University here. So Deepa, could you please elaborate on the requirements for undergraduate medicine course for the session starting in 21?
Okay, if Deepa is not there, I can answer it for her. Canada is so...
Let's just see. Let's just see if Deepa is here. Deepa, if you're here, you can answer that question. I think she
would answer it. Not here. She would answer it the way I would, trust me.
Yeah, sure. You can go. You can go
okay,
ahead.
now Canada has a central policy. This is a policy which is set by the federal government and the provincial government. Every province has its own rules and regulations for pursuing medicine. However, a student needs to do pre-medical sciences before they can pursue medicine. They can do any course related to biology. They can do health sciences, whatever they really want to do. Within that course, there is a sequence of courses that a student will have to pursue. So a student will have to make sure that he is taking every course that is required from him to get into the medicine program. Now that is one thing. Medicine starts at a postgraduate level, which means after you've finished your bachelor's, you can pursue medicine. And I think this is a process which is followed in most of the Western countries. They have pre-medical sciences and then medicine. Anything that has to deal with human beings requires a citizenship of that country, because you are legally, they hold you, you're legally binding to that country if you are a doctor and from some other country and, operating somebody from in a different country. So you have to make sure that you are a citizen before you are able to pursue medicine in Canada. So irrespective of what university you choose, it does not really matter, because there are only 16 universities, 16 universities in Canada that offer medicine. So don't worry, you don't have a big choice. There are hardly 48 total universities in Canada. So you still don't have a big choice in terms of which university you choose. What is important is that you know what is required. So you will need a citizenship or a permanent residency to pursue medicine in Canada for sure after you've finished your bachelor's, even to take the examination to qualify for medicine. So make sure that you finished your pre-med or a biology related course, applied for a permanent residency, which generally after qualifying from a university you get, and then apply to medicine. That there's no shortcut to it.
Thank you, Divya. So I don't really get this question. This is for Canadian universities. How is the process of applying to Canada via USA different from the application process via India?
No, there is no difference at
There's
all.
no difference, I guess.
Anybody outside of Canada is an international student for us. I look after the whole of South Asia, Middle East, and Africa. And everybody that we recruit is an international student and looked upon on the same scale. There are no different standards for different country, whether you come from US, the more privileged country, I believe, or you come from a little less privileged country like India. The standard of education and the way that we teach is the same. It remains the same. Qualification, the qualifying, exams also remain almost the same.
Okay, there is a question that's come here, Almas.
Yes, ma'am.
What should I do if I'm unable to crack JE? And I thought I must answer this because
Yes.
this is the bugbear of many students that are preparing and sitting for JE. There is lots you can do. Doesn't matter if you don't crack JE. How many can crack JE? So what I would say to anybody, firstly, you have to look at why you're sitting for JE. You're sitting for JE look at it as an engineering entrance test, not as an IIT entrance test. IIT only takes 16 to 20,000 students, period. There are lots of brilliant young students in this country that can certainly get into IIT, but IIT doesn't have the seats for you. So I would say, don't worry. Today, head of Microsoft, who you know as Satya Nadella, didn't go to IIT. He's Bill Gates' successor, Satya Nadella. He didn't go to IIT. He went to Manipal Engineering College. And that was almost 25 years ago. Today, Manipal and lots of other private engineering colleges are as good. So for those who don't crack, one is sit for IIT more to get a ranking. Once you get a ranking, you can offer that ranking, and all colleges that offer engineering take that ranking and see whether you fit into the numbers that they take for their courses. There are lots of private engineering colleges and other engineering colleges where you will be eligible. Now, some of the private engineering colleges, take JEE, or if you haven't done JEE, they also have their own entrance tests. And the reason is easier to get in is because the numbers are not so many. They do charge a fee, which is probably higher than the government colleges. But if you can't afford the fee, I would say it's still worth going to these colleges, maybe taking a loan if necessary. But some of them are excellent, including the Manipal I was telling you about, Vellore, BITS, Pilani, Thapar. There are any number of good engineering colleges. So I would say, don't worry if you cannot crack JEE. It's not the end of the world. You will still be an excellent engineer. Just go for the college and course, and the best course you can get into. And finally, I'll just add, the person who set up Infosys was engineers, Narayan Murthy. He's today now one of their chairman, he's emeritus. He got into IIT, but he couldn't afford the fees. His father couldn't afford the fees even at that time. So he went to a regional engineering college, or which is now an NIT in Mysore. And still he was able to learn whatever he had to learn to be able to set up this huge IT company called Infosys. So I can give you lots and lots of stories of people who've done extremely well who haven't been to IIT. So don't worry about JEE. I would say just do the best you can in your engineering entrance exam, and I'm sure you will be able to do extremely well.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So there's one question from Rohan Singh. He wants to know what are the procedures we should do if we want to be in Indian Navy or Indian Police or Army. What are the procedures to get into that?
Again, for the Army, you need physics, to Army, Navy and Air Force. Army, you can get in. You have to clear if you want to get in at the officer level. You want to go to the NDA, National Defense Academy. You would need to sit for their entrance test while you're in class 12 or soon after, before the age of 19. You can go into apply for the NDA entrance test. If you get in, well and good. If you don't get in, you can try again after graduation. After graduation, there are you can try through the CDSC, Common Defense Services exam, and there are intakes, and they take graduates from all disciplines because there are different areas of the Army that require people of all disciplines, whether they're engineers or doctors or lawyers or even administrators or teachers. So there are many, many areas of it. Now, as far as the police is concerned, police has a separate exam. The police, if you are joining as a police officer, then you have to sit for the civil services exam, which is the exam for 32 other services, including the IES, the IFS, the Revenue Service, all of those services. It's a very tough exam. You have to clear that after graduation in any subject, but it requires a lot of preparation because there are 8 very, very difficult papers to clear. So make quite sure you are prepared for that. If you're unable to clear what is called the Central Police Services, you can apply for the state services of the state police, again, through a similar exam, but that is only conducted for your state.
Thank you, ma'am. So this question is for Trinity and Queen's University. Please tell about the courses you offer for mass communications. So I guess Deepa is not here, so any Canadian university who wants to answer this. Mass communication.
Okay, so most of the universities in Canada would have a program called communications. Within communications, you have both media communication and corporate communications. It's quite an extensive program. I believe Queens would have that program too. It's a beautiful university I've been to. Absolutely stunning, and it's a good place to be because I'm speaking on behalf of Deepa. I got to say that, right? But nonetheless, Ottawa is also we started in the year 1848 and one of the oldest. So we are very beautiful, and we also have a course in communications. Just in case.
York University Sheridan School also has, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think all universities would have a course in communications, all of them, because it's a university under the Faculty of Arts. Communications is the most sought after program, both here in India and in Canada. So yes, I think all of them will have it. And there are, as I told you, only 48 universities to look at. So please go ahead and do your own research. I am sure you'll find a lot more. Thank you.
Nilanjana, if you want to add on to it.
Yes, hi. At Trinity, we do not have a specific program in communications or mass comm. However, if you look at the skills and the opportunities in terms of the learning and career outcomes, then mostly are English graduates who gain leading roles in intellectual, professional, and public life. And the skills developed by students of our English school are in high demand from employers, especially in journalism, broadcasting, teaching, advertising, marketing, business, arts management, and publishing. So students who may be looking at a career in journalism or mass comm generally, we always recommend our program in English to get the communication and expertise in expression.
Thank you,
I found there's a very interesting question come up here.
Yeah.
My only interest is in drums. What career can I have?
Well, so this is basically related to the music.
Music. Now, the thing is, I have to be sorry to deflate you a little, but I would suggest that drums, any performing arts, whether it's drums or piano or guitar or violin, whatever, singing or choreography, is a very, very difficult career to have, whether in India, abroad, or anywhere. So I would suggest keep it as a hobby until the time you are in a position to be like a top percussion performer. But even then, having constantly jobs and work to do is something which you cannot guarantee. So the best thing is do the drums. Maybe at some stage you can set up a studio, do jingles, teach drums. If you want, you can teach it. Then there's a possibility of a career. But having a career in performing with drums, it is a really tough life, I would say.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to add to this a bit.
I just want to say one thing to all the representatives. Please take all the questions, go through the questions. I can see a lot of questions that are not answered, and for specific universities also. And if you find any generic question also that you can answer, please type in the answers for the students as they are looking, waiting for your answers. Yes, Divya, you can go ahead.
That's a very apt reply. Music can be really difficult. And you need to have a portfolio. So please make sure that you have started making a portfolio, from the time that you start learning music, and you would need a great portfolio. However, that said, if you are passionate and you really want to pursue music, we have a school of music. Now, what you can really do is choose a major that would give you a backup. So, for example, you can choose a major in, say, English, right? Or maybe choose a major in French as a language, because that's also, or you can, choose a major in the subject and do a certificate program or a minor in music. So you can do a 1-year course in piano. So we have a 1-year certificate program in piano, which is in affiliation with Trinity, I believe. So you can do that alongside your studies, whatever that you think you would want to major in. It would give you exposure to both areas, to a career and to your passion too.
Thank you, Divya. So, ma'am, there's one question for you. What are the best subjects for UPSC? This is from Siddharth Abrol. He wants to know what are the best subjects for UPSC.
Again, there is no such best subjects because there are more than 30 subjects that you can take up for UPSC. You choose the ones that you can be good at. So say you've done science, you can take up science-related subjects. Now, if you've done history and economics, then you can take up history or economics. But there are also about 30 subjects, plus in the list, if you go to the Civil Services website, you'll see that there is a list which gives you what subjects can be taken together, because you will need two majors. So there are certain subjects you cannot take together. So check those out and then take those subjects accordingly. Again, take subjects that you can score well in and you can learn easily.
So there's one more question from Pragnay Kumar. He says CBSE offered a new subject called engineering graphics. What is the scope of this subject?
Engineering graphics is like what they call computer graphics, or what they used to call mechanical drawing earlier on. It's the same thing. It's a very scoring subject. If you're good with being able to work on the computer and you have a good visual conceptual sense, it could be a good subject to take out. And it's useful if you're going in for engineering or architecture or design. It could be a good subject to have.
Thank you, ma'am. So what is the procedure if I want to become an IAS officer? This is from Pranav Sharma.
Yeah, well, you know, to be an IAS officer, you have to crack the Civil Services UPSC exam, and keep in mind that the UPSC exam, normally almost 10 to 15 lakh students sit for the UPSC. Hardly 1,800 to 1,000 get into the civil services, the 30 services, and about 80 to 100 are selected every year. So it's a very, very tough exam to prepare for. But certainly if you have that as an ambition, you can work for it. You have to be a graduate, like we said earlier. In any subject, you can be a graduate and take up the subjects that you are familiar with. And after graduation, I would suggest take about a year off to study and prepare for the civil services exam.
Okay, so Saina Madan
be prepared. No. You may not get into IAS, you may get into other services. So you have to decide whether you're ready for any of the other services as well, whether it's police or revenue or information or railways or whichever other service it is.
Yes. So Saina Madan says, is there any university here that provides courses for interior designing? So I guess this is for Rahul. This is for you. Can you hear me, Rahul? So any other university who is providing interior designing course can answer this question. We'll move on to the next question now. Amil says, is MBA HR in demand for job applications? And this is for you.
Sorry, MBA HR?
In demand for job applications.
HR is a good field, definitely is a good field, and certainly now it's gaining because people realize and organizations realize that they need the right people in the right jobs who need to be motivated to work well. So it will continue to be in demand and certainly is a good field to get into.
Prabhu Surat wants to know what is the difference between NATA and JEE Mains Paper 2? NATA and JEE Mains.
NATA has become compulsory by the Council of Architecture for all students, irrespective of whether they've done JEE Mains and done the architecture exam from JEE also. So NATA is essential. It's best to do NATA if you want to look for a course in architecture for BArch.
Sanskriti wants to know what is the procedure if I want to become an investment banker?
The best thing is to take up BCom or BA Economics, then do an MBA in finance. Along the way, pick up as many courses as you can in areas related to finance. There are lots of short finance courses, related courses like capital markets, treasury management, stocks and shares, any of those all will help you in it. And nowadays, there are a large number of investment bankers, and those into financial markets are very, very knowledgeable about the computer, because a large number of the shares and things are managed through algorithms. So if you are knowledgeable about the computer and some of the computer technologies, that's also useful.
Okay. So there's one question. It says, what is the difference between giving NEET and applying for AFMC and sitting for CDS after the 5 years of medical?
The NEET, you will get admission into any engineering college. AFMC is only for the defense services. If you're looking at getting into the Defense Services medical wing, then the best thing is try for AFMC. If you don't get in, you can still go in, get into any medical college and apply for service once you've completed your medical degree.
Okay. So Aryan wants to know the procedure to get into Merchant Navy or Coast Guard.
Each are different. The Merchant Navy, today there are courses for the Merchant Navy through the Indian Maritime University. Indian Maritime University website has a long list of colleges that offer what they call the BSc in Nautical Science. Most of these, the training for this, there is an entrance test and you get into the course. It's a one-year course which you do at the institute, and then you do 2 years on board a ship where you will learn about the nautical science, and then you clear the degree exam after that. You can also get into Merchant Navy by doing a BTech in Marine Engineering and then joining as an engineer in the Merchant Navy. For the Coast Guard, it is a separate exam. You have to sit for the exam. You don't need any particular requirements for that, though I think they prefer science graduates. And there's an entrance test and you apply for it like any government organization.
Okay. So there's one question. Would you suggest dropping an year to crack JEE Advanced if you just missed the cut?
I know that's a difficult question to answer. What should you do? If you feel I can do better in the next year, you can certainly try. But I would suggest that, what happens is very often there are many students I know who have, dropped 1 year to try again for the same thing. Many have not even done as well as they did the previous year. So I would suggest that the JEE, if you get a good enough, another alternative college, that means if you've just missed IIT, the advanced, there's still a huge gap between, there's no knowing whether you will be able to cross it next year or not. It's hugely competitive, but you will, with those kind of ranking, you will get into some very good, excellent alternative colleges. So I would suggest take a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. So take the best you can get now and start your degree program.
So another question is, what is the scope after doing astrophysics or physics as a postgrad course?
Well, the study of astrophysics, astrosciences, all the cosmology, all the things related to space and outer space sciences, missile technologies, all of that, any of those you can specialize in. So you need to have done, if you've done MSc in astrophysics, after that, it will be a research-based career. There are many, many universities or institutes, I should say, in India and abroad where you can study.
Shreya wants to know what is the scope in classical dance?
Classical dance. This, I would say, is Indian classical dance. Well, mostly in India, it is for teaching or setting up your own school for dance in India. There are certain grades that you can take up, and then once you've qualified, you can set up your own institute or training program for classical dance. More than that, as a performer, of course, you can perform, and there is scope for performing in India as well.
So Arpit wants to know, is it safe to do hotel management in this scenario?
Yes, there will always be a need for hotels because people are traveling and will require. There is a current state in which people are not coming into hotels, but the hotels will come up. There will be, just as they say, different protocols for how they will manage guests and how the guests will be kept clean and sanitized and all of that. So the way in which it is being taught might be changed, but the requirement will still be the same. And there will still be a need. There will be probably smaller hotels, not these huge hotels. There'll be smaller hotels, less number of guests, and there will be maybe different outlets where they can eat, so they're not jostling for space, and many other precautions that would be taken for the future. But people will always continue to travel, so I think hotel business will never go out of possibilities there will continue to be good.
So Asima wants to know, please explain the procedure of becoming an astrophysicist.
There's no one procedure. You need to do a master's, MSc in astrophysics, and then you'll have to specialize in many different fields by doing a PhD or some additional training in the field of astrophysics that you want to do. So you have to decide which area of astrophysics you want to get into. Astrophysics is a huge area, so you have to really read up a little about it and see. But do start with doing your base in physics, do a BSc physics, and then you can go on to an MSc in astrophysics.
Thank you, ma'am. As we are actually approaching towards the end of this session, so I would like all the universities to please once again go through all the questions, because I can see a few questions for the universities still unanswered. Please go through the Q&A box and answer the questions. So there's a question from
There's
Pranav.
a question on what is the scope if I do undergraduate in mechatronics.
Yes.
Should I just answer that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. Mechatronics is a combination of mechanical engineering and electronics. And yes, specialized areas of engineering do require mechatronics. So now there are demand for people who, particularly those who are in the electronics manufacturing sector, to take on engineers who have done mechatronics. So yes, there is a growing scope for mechatronics.
Hifza wants to know, is there any course related to information practices in University of Trinity? So Nilanjana, if you want to answer this question.
Yeah, I think I've already answered it on chat to the students.
Okay, because it was not marked, that's why. We can go ahead with other questions. So Anya wants to know, is taking up IIM program better than doing engineering after 12th?
Sorry, is that for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, what's the question again? Please,
is
I can't
taking
see
up
it here.
an IIM program better than doing engineering after 12th?
NIM would be?
IIM program.
IIM program. Oh.
Yes, better than engineering.
You can't get into an IIM. IIM is an MBA program. Institute of Management, you do an IIM program at a postgrad level. Yes, except for the IIM Indore, which has an integrated program, which if you want to do an integrated, you can take it up. But I normally recommend to most students that it is better to do an undergraduate, do a couple of years of work experience, then take on an MBA, and that too, you can get an option to do an MBA from any institute that you may want to do and any specialization that you may want to do. So not necessarily that you have to take up an integrated program.
Thank you, ma'am. So I'm just taking the last question for the day as we have certain time limitations. So Sneha wants to know, please tell the career options for commerce students with applied maths. This is for you, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me?
Applied maths, is that it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Commerce with applied maths, it really depends on whether you want to concentrate on maths. And if you're very good with maths, you might have a career in getting into an area like actuarial science. You can get into maths or stats. These are some of the areas that you can get into. Otherwise, you just treat it as a subject that would give you a sense of maths, and therefore you could apply it to areas related to business, management, financial services, any of those areas. So it just is a subject which gives you a better lean on commerce and ability to handle anything for which you need to have a fairly advanced level of maths.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Elmas.
Yes, Dhruv.
Sure.
Elmas, very quickly, just wanted to look at the question right above the one that you just read. So, talking about the tourism-related courses, I just wanted to highlight that we have a Bachelor of International Hotel and Tourism Management that we offer, which is a 3 years program. And UQ, the University of Queensland's field of hospitality, is ranked 27th in the world as per the QS World Rankings, World University Rankings. And also we are #1 in Australia for travel and tourism. So any queries, I'm happy to take, the students can directly reach out to me. I've already provided my details.
Sure, definitely. Definitely. As we are at the end of this session, I would like to thank everyone, especially Meenakshi ma'am for giving us this opportunity, and Usha ma'am for taking all the queries from the students and patiently answering them. I know we have a lot of queries in queue. So don't worry, you can always write to us at nazir@icaeindia.com, and if you have any other career related query also, you can write to us and we will definitely get back to you. Thank you everyone, and it is goodbye from us. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you ma'am, thank you for joining us. Thank you everyone.
Thank you,
all the
Almas,
university
and thank you everyone. It's nice to know and meet so many people on this panel. Thank you very much, and thank you ICAE and Nazir and Almas. Thank you for organizing this program today. Wish all of you well, and let's hope we can all get through this tough critical period quickly and get on with the students and all their aspirations, which all of us are is primary in all of our minds. Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Goodbye.
Thank you ma'am. Stay safe, stay healthy, all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.